What's going on YouTube? Heylow here bringing you another Total War Warhammer 2 1v1 matchup. So today we're going to be playing some Vampire Coast in ladder and we're going to be coming up against the Skaven. So I wanted to try a new build out today, so let's dive into the compositions. Alright, so for my lord we are going to have Celostra on foot. She's going to be rocking her crab summons as well as Fog of the Damned. To support her, we are going to have a Mourngul Haunter to go after some lords, as well as our standard Vampire Fleet Captain over here on the Rotting Leviathan for Invocation of Nehek and some Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. Up in the front line, we're going to have a bunch of Deckhand mob with the Tide of Skuld in the middle for support. Flanking that, we're going to have a whole line of Zombie Pirate Deckhand mob with pole arms. They're going to provide some of that AP and anti-large in case of Rat Ogres or Hell Pits. And then in the rear, we are going to have Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob handguns, 3 units. And then in the very back of the formation, we're going to have 3 units of Sirens. These guys are going to be my quick response in case of any vanguarded flanking elements and to protect the Gunnery mob with handguns from any kind of summons. So, over here for the Skaven, we're going to have a very spread out 20 stack. So over here in the woods, we're going to have 3 units of Rat Ogres. All across the front line, we're going to have some Skaven Slave Spears. Supporting that, a couple units of Storm Vermins with sword and shield to support. And then a couple Warp Fire Throwers in each little pocket section to back that up as well. The Skaven Lord and Warlock Engineers a little bit dispersed here. Queek bringing up the center of his formation. So let's get going. All right. So, right off the bat, I see that my opponent is very spread out across the battlefield, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to go after this little pocket here. We're going to use some of this terrain on our left and the choke point down here on the right to kind of isolate the center core of the formation. He's going to have to swing around the far flanks and come all the way up and around, but with the infantry, that's not really going to be super realistic for him to achieve. So he's going to end up forcing into our choke points, and that's going to give us a really good advantage there with our summons as well as Fog of the Damned to kind of blob them up and grind out that engagement, protect the flanks, get the deckhand mobs to go in there for as long as possible. So Mourngul is going to go in straight away on the Warlock Engineer, and then we're going to have the deckhands and the Skaven Slaves charging down the hill. I sent these guys down here. They're going to take a downhill charge, but that's not super bad for us. Gets them stuck in this little ditch so that our guns can fire straight up and over the top of everything. The Warp Fire Throwers dumping some shots in on the Mourngul Haunter, but not doing too much damage. Summoning a deckhand mob in the rear of the Skaven Slaves, try and break that up right away. Vampire Fleet Captain going to support against some spears. Out on the far left flank, we are also going to have Sirens supporting some deckhands against some more Skaven Slaves. Warp Lightning dropped on the deckhand mob with handguns. Didn't do too much damage though. So out here on the right side, exactly what I wanted to happen is happening. We have this entire flank just kind of bogged down right now, this mass of rats trying to swarm up the hill, but that gives our handguns the perfect angle to start firing in over the heads of our troops and just start shredding some rats here, start chewing them up. Rotting Promethean Summon coming in to support and hold back Queek, as well as the Damn Knights Errant coming into the rear of this, and they are going to go in for some rear charges and to chase off some of those infantry. But over here, my opponent does start bringing in 3 units of Rat Ogres. We are going to pull up our deckhand mob with pole arms and send the Sirens in to support. And some of our handguns are going to start turning about to focus fire on these guys, try and take them out of the fight right off the bat. Vampire Fleet Captain go to support. Mourngul Haunter here, still duking it out, shredding this entire front line and punting the Warlock Engineer around. So Tide of Skuld and some deckhand mob going into support there. This blob of Rat Ogres desperately trying to get through into our handguns, but we have lots and lots of pole arms in here with the Sirens, just really forcing these guys into a slog fest. Down to 18 melee attack because of the Sirens melee attack debuff. So these guys really aren't hitting much at all, and they get routed out as well. Warp Fire Throwers coming back though, doing a nice amount of damage on the Sirens. Just spraying down the hill here into this blob that I have going. So I'm trying to disperse and focus my handguns on these guys, get them out of the fight. Fog of the Damned over here down in this corridor. A unit of Death Runners though does get around on the flank, and one gets into my Sirens. I use them to stop them from getting into more of my handguns, but one unit is compromised. So still trying to bog down this whole side over here. We've got Celostra and some crabs, but unfortunately our infantry is withering under this blob of storm vermin. and the Skaven slaves. So trying to support this, we do start pulling our handguns out. Sirens trying to tie that down. Desperately trying to get rid of this Warlock Engineer, but the fight is tipping in our favor. This entire left side of the map has been pretty cleaned up so far. We've got 2 units of very high health Sirens chasing off what's left of the Rat Ogres. We've got another Deckhand mob holding our flank, but some more of the Rat Ogres coming in the back. Deckhand mob with pole arms trying to take those guys out. And handguns over here starting to reorient, and we are swamping on these Death Runners with our infantry to try and bog it down. Trying to save these handguns, but at this point they're pretty much gone. Rat Ogres getting into our other unit, but some Deckhand mob coming into support, as well as the Tide of Skuld and some handguns firing in, so we should be able to recover that. Left flank here being secured by this Deckhand mob unit, and then out here Sirens just continuing to chase things off. So Morngul out here chases off the Engineer finally, just going to push him off the battlefield, and then downhill here, all we really have is this pocket of Storm Vermin. Really tough units to try and crack with what I have. So with the melee defense buffs and everything coming from Queek, they are lasting a very long time, but Celostra doing an awesome job. Trophy Heads does get popped on her though, and she has no melee defense. Fortunately, she has tons of physical resistance, so Song of Enthrallment going down here, reducing that melee attack to kind of counteract that Trophy Heads, keep her safe from too much damage now that all these Storm Vermin are down to 10 at melee attack. And starting to spread out along the hill here, focus off the rest of these Death Runners, and just kind of spread out, and we're going to push down and engage to support her. Vampire Fleet Captain coming in, and we summon a new unit of Deckhand mob in to support as the last of our pole arms wither away. Sirens finally mopping up the back line with some of our pole arms, and they're going to come down to support as well. Morngul shatters out the Warlock Engineer, and he is going to come around for the flank. So Skaven right now definitely on the back foot, barely hanging in there, and we're going in for the killing blow on this blob. Gonna try and terror out the rest out and focus down Queek. Some of our handguns forcing off some of these rallying Rat Ogres, keep them from regenerating. Sirens back here coming back to the fight, and some of our Deckhand mob dispersed over here, forcing out the Death Runners. And yeah, with Queek going down, that is gonna be game. GG to my opponent. Alright, so looking at the builds, my opponent here definitely going for a super wide build, pretty rush heavy. I liked it though. Unfortunately, I didn't go for like any artillery or any crazy monsters and stuff like that. I went super wide on chaff infantry with Sirens to support, and then a couple of handguns just to focus down like a Hell Pit, Rat Ogres, or any like hard targets like that. Celostra on foot because I was kind of banking on there not being a Liber Bubonicus, and they don't really have too many other direct damage spells beside that, and I wanted to go a little wider. I didn't want to have the Giant Crab just because even though it's pretty hard for Skaven to take down if they do have Warp Lightning cannons, this map isn't bad for it. So I took the risk, went with her on foot, and then just supported with the Fleet Captain and the Morngul in case she needed heals, and to Goon Lords. Worked out pretty well though. Definitely worked to my advantage having the terrain positioning that I did. My opponent going very spread out, and me being in a very nice, like, not condensed but formed like defensive position at the core of that formation there. Definitely kept me safe from a lot of the flanking that he was trying to pull off. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I will see you guys next time.